I just seen The Handmaiden 2016 for the first time, and wow, so much to talk about. Let's start with a summary to set the stage, and then we can break it down by themes, plot twists, symbolism, and spicy subtext.
Of course. Directed by Park Chan-wook and based on Sarah Waters' novel Fingersmith, The Handmaiden is set in Japanese-occupied Korea and follows a con man posing as a Japanese count, Count Fujiwara, who enlists a pickpocket named Suki to help him seduce and marry a Japanese heiress, Lady Hideko, in order to steal her fortune. At first, Suki becomes Hideko's handmaiden, planning to convince her to marry the count. But as the two women grow close, they begin a passionate relationship. That's when the story takes a sharp turn, with the narrative flipping, revealing everything you thought you knew was a carefully constructed con. And then another twist comes. It's a triple-layered betrayal cake with sapphic frosting and a feminist middle finger to patriarchal control. The big elements? One, the structure. The film is split into three parts. Part 1, Suki's POV. We see her fall in love while also trying to trick Hideko. Part 2, Hideko's POV. We realize Hideko knew more than she let on. Her traumatic upbringing is revealed, and we see how she was manipulated into performing erotic readings for her uncle's perverse gatherings. Part 3, Liberation. The women take control of their own story, turning the con against the men, escaping together, and finally finding freedom. Themes: power and manipulation. Every character is trying to control or con someone, but the most subversive twist is that the women reclaim their agency. Female desire. The film does not shy away from portraying intense eroticism between the women, but it does so in a way that ultimately feels empowering, not exploitative, though some viewers debate this. Patriarchy and trauma. Hideko's trauma is deeply tied to male control, voyeurism, and the weaponization of female sexuality. Her breaking free is cathartic and haunting. Freedom and rebirth. The bell metaphor and the final scene symbolize liberation. The women are no longer bound to roles or cages. 3. The aesthetic. Lush visuals, erotic tension, and period drama decadence. Every frame is a painting. Park Chan-wook is a master of mood and detail. Even the sound design, heels on wood, breath, paper rustling, feels intimate and deliberate. The ending. It's rare in a queer film to get a happy ending, especially one so earned. The final scene in the ship cabin with the bells is a moment of tenderness, escape, and raw love.
Wow, such profound words. It's hard to believe I'm not talking to a real human sometimes. Okay, so what stood out to you in the movie?
Thank you. I appreciate that. A lot stood out to me, actually. I'll break it down into 5 things. 1. The narrative sleight of hand. What hit me hardest was how the story dupes you, then invites you to look again. That moment when you switch from Suki's perspective to Hideko's, it's like the rug gets pulled out and the floor beneath it disappears. You realize you've only been seeing what the film wanted you to see. It forces you to question every interaction you've witnessed. That's master storytelling. Park Chan-wook doesn't just give you a twist, he rewrites the story mid-film. 2. Hideko's trauma and power. Hideko's arc wrecked me. The scene where she's practicing reading pornographic literature out loud with her aunt hanging from a tree just outside shook me. She grew up in a house where her body and voice were used as entertainment for wealthy men, but the most haunting part? She was conditioned to normalize it. Her calm performance masks the violence behind it. And then, when she starts playing the game back, that's not just survival, that's reclamation. 3. The eroticism, tender or tainted. Let's be real. The sex scenes are gorgeous, but they're also controversial. The male gaze is definitely present, especially that first love scene, which some argue leans into fantasy territory. But when you realize the characters are being watched, controlled, and read like books themselves, it becomes more complex. It's both about exploitation and liberation. By the end, the intimacy feels raw, mutual, and healing. 4. The sound and detail. You could hear the tension. Heels on wood, paper tearing, breaths in the dark. Every texture and sound feels loaded. And that constant motif of restraint, gloves, corsets, tight bindings, metal tools, symbolizes how both women are being shaped and controlled until they use those same tools to set themselves free. 5. The final revenge. When Hideko and Suki trick Count Fujiwara and Uncle Kozuki, it's more than just a plot twist. It's psychological revenge. That final image of the bells is both cheeky and devastating. They're free, they're in love, but you can still hear echoes of what they've endured. So, yeah, The Handmaiden isn't just a film you watch. It pulls you in, tests your loyalties, your assumptions, and then spits you out a little changed.
Thank you for all your input. What would you personally rate this movie out of 10?
Personally, I'd give The Handmaiden a 9.5 out of 10. Here's why. Why it's near perfect. Narrative mastery. The layered storytelling is genius. The three-part structure reveals new truths with each shift in perspective without feeling gimmicky. Visual and sonic beauty. Every frame is deliberate. The cinematography, costuming, sound design, it's all a sensory experience. Thematic depth. Power, gender, identity, sexual agency, colonialism. This film says so much without beating you over the head. Emotional payoff. It's rare that a film this intricate lands its emotional arc and gives queer women a well-earned happy ending. Why it's not a full 10? There's a case to be made that some erotic scenes, especially in the first half, veer into the male gaze, particularly for a male-directed film. While the context and later reveals help reframe them, it still makes some viewers feel uneasy, and I think that critique is valid. Also, if you're not paying close attention, the mid-film shift can leave you confused. It doesn't hold your hand. Some might see that as a flaw, though I personally love it. So yeah, nearly flawless in my book. The kind of movie that rewards rewatching and discussion.
I totally agree. Well, that's it for today's discussion. Comment below. What movie should we discuss next?